Hello and welcome to another episode of Business Beat with me, Odette. In South Africa, we have 11 official languages, but did you know that we actually should have 12? With me is Tuli from Yellow Owl, and she'll be talking to us about what that 12th language should be, is probably going to be, and why it's important for us as South Africa to know. Hello, Tuli, and welcome to Business Beat.
Hello, Odette. Thank you for having me.
So, this 12th language is?
South African Sign Language, SASL for short.
Every time we talk sign language, my mind teleports back to that horrendous event at Madiba's memorial when we had the guy doing break dancing and everybody thought he was saying, "We'll miss you, Madiba. We love you, Madiba." But all he was doing was like, hey, you know?
Actually, I was there at the stadium on that day. It was such an embarrassment.
ways.
But at the time, I wasn't qualified. So I too was a little bit skeptical about what he was saying because I didn't know what he was saying.
And you understand sign?
Yes, and when I double-checked with the community that I serve, indeed, my gut feeling was right. They did not understand him, and it was such a disservice. It truly was embarrassing for the deaf community and for interpreters, professional interpreters. You can imagine the professionals that built the foundation. He erased everything that we worked hard for, so we had to work twice as hard to make sure that the industry was not tainted anymore.
So I heard that signing is actually a universal language. So it doesn't matter what language you speak, if you sign, anyone who understands sign will understand you. Am I correct?
Unfortunately, Odette, that is not true. So sign language is not universal. Sign language depends on the culture and the region that we are in. So ours is SASL, South African Sign Language. So it's unique to our culture, our history, and our region. So every country has their own sign language. You've got American Sign Language, you've got Kenyan Sign Language.
American, they speak English.
I know, but it's based on the culture and the community. So what you can say is universal is the fact that it's hands and that there's facial expression. It's the principles and the parameters that are in the language, but the people, the engagement, that is unique to the people and the community and the region. You'll also find that there are dialects within the language as well. That is cultural.
I've noticed whenever we have a family meeting, we have a little green block on the side of the screen.
Sure.
And there would be a person who would be interpreting what our president is saying.
Sure.
How do we as South Africans know that this person is also not breakdancing?
So the answer is twofold. So one is that fortunately we've got a deaf community that is very vocal.
Yes.
The deaf community are the clients that we serve. They are very vocal and they deserve to have qualified interpreters. We've got bodies and organizations that regulate and that check if the interpreter is qualified or not, or if they make sense. And there've been a couple of red flags where the community was not happy and they had to be removed. And that's because it's their right. So having an interpreter is a right, basically a communication right, because it's access to information.
So how do we get South Africa to rally around people like yourself to ensure that we have the correct, accredited sign language being put on TV?
I think that it starts with awareness. So I'm actually quite happy that what we do as Yellow Owl, we sensitize brands. So every collaboration, every process, we're pioneers basically. It's got a long way of awareness and teaching, and it's a learning curve for all the brands that we collaborate with. So because they're quite prominent as it is, the word spreads out very quickly.
Right.
It's a creative process to push the boundaries of how content can be delivered. It's not mainstream, traditional, where you just see the box on the TV. Now you can do anything. You can do podcasts. If you understand your role as an interpreter, you just need to be accessible and make sure that information is inclusive on every platform.
Is this then not an opportunity for the deaf community to become entrepreneurs?
One of the projects that we have, I'm not sure if you're aware, we have the first deaf podcast that's produced by Yellow Owl.
Wow.
And that's very...
You have to take, I'm sorry. Forgive my ignorance, but I'm thinking a podcast is something you
It's
hear.
audio, it's
but
audio.
signing is visual.
Sure.
How do we do this?
Podcasts are audio in nature. So
Right.
it's a hearing conversation, it's a hearing audience. So what we did, we flipped it and it's called Signs and Stories, and that's exactly what it is. So it's a visual form of storytelling of a new narrative. It's refreshing, it's inspirational, but this is exactly what it is. It's a conversation but using SASL. And it's produced by Yellow Owl, but we've got deaf presenters, we've got deaf guests. And this is where we highlight the frustrations, we highlight the experiences, the stories. They've got a story to tell, but this is from their point of view.
Whenever I see someone signing, it's generally only when it's something newsy or something like a family meeting or something like a memorial of a very important person. Should we not have that sign box at the bottom of the screen all the time?
Whenever people ask me what I do and I tell them that I'm an interpreter, they always think current affairs, they always think the news.
Yes.
But then actually there's so much more that you can do.
Everything, every TV
Exactly. If you understand your role, it becomes so creative. The opportunities are fantastic. And that's the amazing things that we've done as Yellow Owl. We've collaborated with podcasts, videos, we've done live events, we do webinars. The language is so versatile, you can express anything.
If I were to take anything out of our conversation today, it would be that big business needs to incorporate sign as a communication medium for their marketing and communication campaigns. And that broadcasters need to also incorporate sign as a means of communicating everything, not just news, current affairs, family meetings, that kind of thing.
And to add on to that, Odette, so 8% of the population, approximately 4 million are deaf people. So that's an untapped market. So with Yellow Owl, we have discovered a completely new industry. So we saw a huge gap within the podcasting industry and we just put our flag in it. We claimed that spot. And we started with just having an interpreter, but now we're making it deaf podcast, and everything we do is just trying to push the limits and discover the potential of how we can make content more inclusive, more refreshing, more inspirational, more compelling using SASL.
Thank you for opening my eyes
Absolutely.
and my ears and my heart
and your hands
and my hands and hopefully I'll learn a thing or two as I go along, in my life's journey, to be able to help.
Sure. No, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I think this platform is also an encounter to educate and to spread awareness. I think that I'm pro accreditation, I'm pro being qualified, and I'm pro just seeing things differently. I think that when you are afraid of the unknown, it blocks you out. But when you open your mind up to new opportunities, then you can create magic, and it's through collaboration.
It is through collaboration, and magic, you use the word magic, now more than ever. We need a little bit of magic in South Africa to boost this economy. But no wizardry is going to fix it. It's going to take lots of hands, lots of cooperation, collaboration, and inclusion in order to give every single South African access. And that includes people who are hearing impaired. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Odette, for having me.
South Africa, if you don't know how to sign, here's a challenge. Why not try learning something new? But let's not turn to YouTube for this one. Let's go to the deaf community, the associations, and find out how to do this properly. And when you do see somebody signing at the bottom of the TV, let's give them a thumbs up, because I think that is still sharp, yeah?
It is, or a big I love you.
I love you. Absolutely. Until next time.